Good afternoon and welcome to our Red and Yellow Virtual Open Day. I'm Ashley Young, the head of admissions, and I'm joined by Stefan Hill, who is our team lead for the online courses and qualifications. I'm going to get started in just a minute, so we'll give those of you still arriving a couple of minutes just to get settled. And of course, a couple of latecomers will of course filter through. So give us a minute and we'll get started at just 2 minutes after the hour. Right, let's get started. I see the attendees coming through has started to slow down. Once again, good afternoon and welcome to our Red and Yellow Virtual Open Day. My name's Ashley Young, I'm the head of admissions, and of course I'm joined by Stefan Hill, who is our team lead for our online courses and qualifications. Stefan will join us on camera towards the end when we do a Q&A session. And as always, it's such a privilege to share insights about Red and Yellow and what makes us such an incredible institution to study with. Some house rules for today's open day is if you do have any questions during the presentation, please can you use the Q&A functionality and not the chat for those questions. It just makes it easier for us to follow those. If you do get disconnected from Zoom, simply rejoin via the original link you would have received. And don't worry if you miss anything or if any of your questions aren't answered during the session today. We, of course, will be happy to pick up those conversations with you individually afterwards, and we're more than happy to assist. Then with regards to today's event, we will of course be sharing a recording of the webinar as well as the copies of the slide deck via email after the session. Will come through in the coming day. All right, let's jump straight into it. So looking at into what we'll have a quick look at today, you'll have a look and see where we come from as an institution, highlight some of our awards and industry associations as well as partnerships, take you through our programs and offerings, and then of course that Q&A session right at the end. We are proudly one of the biggest feeders of talent and into the creative and marketing industries. We've been shaping the industry for over 30 years, and along the way, we've built an incredible reputation for producing graduates who are not just skilled, but industry ready. We also form part of the Honoris United University Network, which as you might see on some of our collaterals as well as our logos. And what that really does mean is that we form part of a larger consortium of African universities, making impact all around the world. And as such, we're actually able to develop a number of our courses and present our courses across the continent in countries like Mauritius, Nigeria, and more recently Tunisia and Namibia. So really exciting evolution of Red and Yellow through obviously being associated to the Honoris United University Network. Just like any respected traditional institution, it kind of goes without saying, speaking to accreditation and making sure that qualifications are all recognized and accredited. And we're fully accredited with by the Council of Higher Education, and all of our qualifications, of course, would be listed on the SAQA website. And SAQA is South African Qualifications Authority. But what does that really mean? And what it means for you is that our programs meet national quality standards. It means that you can trust our qualifications, they're recognized, they're credible, and really are valuable at the end of the day. When it comes to digital marketing, we don't just teach it, we literally wrote the textbook on it. Our textbook, E-Marketing, The Essential Guide to Marketing in the Digital World, has been downloaded over 1 million times and is regularly updated to stay ahead of the marketing game and at the forefront of what's happening in the world of marketing. It's not just our students that use it. It's prescribed as a textbook at a number of universities from around the world, some of which you can see their logos on screen at the moment. And so when you're studying anything digital marketing orientated at Red and Yellow, you're learning from the people who've helped define and continue to define the field and industry. When it comes to some of the things, then accolades that we like to speak about, we're incredibly proud of our students and our faculty and what they've been able to achieve, especially over the last few years. We've been a top-ranked school at the Lurys and Pendurings, and we've also got a major international milestone where it's always being ranked #1 for the creative colleges in Africa and the Middle East by the One Club, which pushed us to ultimately 25th in the world, which is a really exciting opportunity and really moves towards our BHAG, or Big Hairy Audacious goal, which is to become the most creative business school in the world. And so 25th and hopefully counting down as we get to the #1 spot in the coming years. Red and Yellow, and where we come from as an institution, is we were ultimately born from this bold idea of industry and graduates weren't quite in the same space. So industry needed graduates that were work ready and people that could ultimately hit the ground running. Enter 3 industry legends, which was Brian, Bob, and Alan. They saw this gap and decided to really shake things up. Their vision was to ultimately to disrupt the traditional marketing education landscape and shape the future for creative leaders. And this is really how the fusion of what makes Red and Yellow is this idea of the fusion of commercial logic and creative magic. And that's where it was born out of that moment. And today it's still something at the heart of what we stand for and do as an institution. When it comes to our mission, it's quite simple. It's to teach and shape the leaders of tomorrow. We're here to ultimately equip the innovators, the creators, the change makers with the relevant and most up-to-date skills that are industry-driven and equipping you with those skills and making sure that you're ready to hit the ground running. Skills don't just get you hired, but they certainly help you make real impact and create magic in any given environment that you find yourself. And it works. The results that we have as an institution ultimately speak for themselves, with 90%, 94% of our graduates receiving a job offer within 6 months of them finishing their studies. So really, really an exciting, exciting knowing that you're studying and have the opportunity to be associated to a brand that is really recognized by industry. Red and Yellow is also a recognized leader in the creative business education with over a decade of experience in delivering impactful corporate training. Our strengths lie in our ability to tailor learning solutions. We work closely with our clients to design training that directly addresses their business challenges. Every program is ultimately built for relevance with a focus on practical application and measurable outcomes. This approach really ensures that teams are not just learning, they're growing the capabilities that translate into true business impact for any of the organizations that we work with. We also focus on 3 core areas of expertise that defines our approach. The first being leadership and creative thinking. We help leaders ultimately balance the strategic thinking with creative innovation, which is focused on driving results. The second is digital skills. Our training spans critical areas like digital marketing, data storytelling, as well as then customer experience. And then finally, client-centered design. All of the programs are ultimately tailored to meet specific business goals, and those can be delivered across multiple different platforms. We believe that some of the biggest strengths that we have is the deep connection that we have with industry. We've built a strong partnership with over 500 organizations across the continent, some big brands, some agencies, and startups alike. And so there's really a broad spectrum of businesses that we ultimately work with and partner with. And as a result, is an entirely unique benefits that we try to pass on to our students, where they get more than just theory. They benefit from real world expertise, regular guest lectures, from industry leaders, creative entrepreneurs, and those that are ultimately making mega impact in various different fields of expertise. And it's one of the key reasons that graduates from Red and Yellow are in such high demand. We also have an incredible agency network, and this agency network expands over 100 agencies across the continent, which gives our students the chance to ultimately solve real world business challenges. And I think that's really important, particularly at a graduate level, but also for working professionals being exposed to our programs, having an idea of how things work in different environments. And this ultimately, the big focus here is bringing the practical hands-on learning into the classroom, whether it be digitally or in person. We also partner with some of the leading industry organizations to keep our content current and our credentials recognized. These include institutions like the Lurie's, Meta, the broad Meta group, Adobe, the IAB, the One Club, the Project Management Institute, the CMO Council, as well as Nedbank IMC, which actually happened a couple of weeks ago. And these partnerships really help to ensure that we stay connected, we stay relevant, and we're ready for the next, or what's coming next in the industries or given environments. We live by a very powerful idea, and I mentioned it earlier, is that fusion of commercial logic and creative magic. And our programs are built around this philosophy, giving you the strategic thinking as well as the creative firepower to stand out from the crowd. And on the next few slides, we'll look at a bouquet of our short courses, followed by a number of our qualifications. Again, if you do have any questions, please feel free to put those in the Q&A box and not the chat, and we'll of course address those as we get to the Q&A session at the end. So looking at our short courses, and here we have a host of different short courses. I'm going to browse through them, but ultimately things like brand management, business analysis, creative thinking, data analysis, customer service, a number of really exciting ones that do pop out there, design thinking. Then on to the next slide, looking at programs like digital marketing, which of course we have a bouquet of different options that suit your need there. Mentorship, which is the course I've actually completed, and one that is really, really exciting. Of course, graphic design beginners, marketing strategy. And then on to the next slide, we have courses like project management, public relations, social media marketing, sports sponsorship marketing. And finally, looking at courses like storytelling for influence or impact on influence, which is one I'm currently doing at the moment, a lifelong learner myself. So really excited about some of these bouquets of courses. Web design, very exciting new cutting edge course, which we've put as part of our portfolio. So a bouquet of over 40 courses. So if you do have any questions on any of those, the student advisors and career advisors are more than happy to chat through any of those particular programs. Then onto our online distance degrees, as well as those qualifications. The first is our BCom in marketing. This is a 3-year NQF level 7 program and is an absolute must for those that are aspiring marketers, business leaders, or even those looking to go into the entrepreneurship route. The program in our distance modality, you'll have up to 6 years to complete the program. So you can either do it over 3 years, 4 years, or 6 years. So really some good relative flexibility for working professionals. What truly strengthens the expertise is the real world expertise that are brought into the classroom from our lecturers, ensuring that you're learning from people that have industry experience, as well as then a really cool, good quality qualification behind the name. So you got that mix of theory and expertise in the real world setting. Some of the important things to highlight here is the minimum requirements for entry into the BCom. You would of course need to at least have a matric with a bachelor's pass or an NQF 5 equivalent. or 4 equivalent. The requirement for the English language is a minimum of a 4 or 50% on your matric results. Mathematics, there's a strong mathematical component to any Bachelor of Commerce-based programs. So with that, you would need at least 50% for core or pure maths, and then a maths literacy mark of 65%, and a total APS score, which excludes life orientation. So your APS score is if you take up all of the actual numerical numbers for on your matric certificate, add those up, exclude life orientation, should be at least a minimum of 26. If there's any confusion on that, we're happy to work with you individually, looking at your matric results and suggesting the best route moving forward. We do also have, we have our new postgraduate diploma in creative leadership, which is our first of its kind in South Africa and the very first core postgraduate qualification that we have at Red and Yellow. The program's offered over 1 year on campus, but can also be done over 2 years, a 2-year providing a relative flexibility again for working professionals. The program is designed to cultivate leaders who excel in disruptive environments, promoting fearless collaboration and turning visionary ideas into groundbreaking realities. It's suited to either individuals that have a good experience in the creative industries, or even those that, aspiring creative professionals or business professionals, or recent graduates. So it really has a broad spectrum of who might be really interested and excited about the program. It's an immersive program which equips you with students with cutting-edge creative theories and practical skills that will advance your career in a myriad of different ways. And of course, so many different career opportunities that are tied to those, which of course you can see a number of those on screen. Then we have our advanced diploma in digital marketing. This is ideal for those who want to deep dive into the world of digital marketing. The program is offered over 2 years part-time, and what the part-time modality here means is that there are some compulsory live classes that you would need to attend. Those of course will be online, and very important to note that those are part of this particular program. I beg your pardon, not for the advanced diploma in digital marketing. It's it's some of the other programs. The course, of course, is perfect for marketing graduates and professionals who want to gain the edge, or master the practical skills and in-depth knowledge needed to become a successful professional in the digital marketing environment or in the marketing environment in general. Then we have our advanced diploma in marketing and advertising communication. This is done over 2 years part-time. This is one of the programs that does have the compulsory live classes. From day one, you'll be really immersed into the scope of the industry in a highly practical way. Early on, you'll also experience an enhancement of personal skills through a set of requirements that are really particularly important to marketing professionals. This program exposes you to cutting-edge industry practices and processes such as integrated marketing, viral marketing, and digital marketing communications. The program is highly recognized and revered within the industry, and provides you with the real-world competitive edge. The uniqueness to this program, I suppose, for working professionals and done on the online or distance modality, is that you'll have the equivalent of what we have on campus is called the brand challenge, whereas online you'll have it's called crossover. And this is a very, very practical, high intensity experience where you'll work with real brands, and you'll get to experience what it is like to actually work with the product from A to Z, and really an exciting and immersive process. We then have our advanced diploma in copywriting. This, of course, also being a program offered over 2 years part-time. It is an NQF level 7, and throughout the program, you'll learn to sharpen your mind, your pen, as well as your writing skills. It will teach you to think conceptually, as well as then ensure that you are thinking creatively to become a strategic thinker, content developer, ideas incubator, or even an author of really important brand stories. And I think brand storytelling is such a compelling and important requirement for business context nowadays. So if you are interested in using your words to make the most of your environment in the industry, I think this advanced diploma in copywriting is really, really exciting, and one that would really fulfill a lot of your needs in the copywriting space. Then we're on to our Advanced Diploma in User-Centered Design. This is a program offered over 2 years part-time, so has those live classes. And with this qualification, you'll really be equipped to apply sound strategic thinking and a deep understanding of what drives human behavior to conceptually create and develop solutions for modern business problems. So ultimately, if there's any problem or solution or journey that people travel through with regards to a product or a process or a procedure, this is the type of program that's going to look at the human behavior and interaction that goes through that. So really, really exciting if you are somebody that is energized by improving a process, improving design, and making sure that things work in a user-centered or user-focused direction. So really exciting career opportunities that do come along with this program too. Then we have our National Certificate in Advertising with a specialization in digital marketing. This is an NQF Level 5 program and is completed over 1 year. It is entirely online. There's no live class requirement for this program, much like the advanced diplomas. This program is tailored for anybody who's an aspiring marketer who's eager to break into the field of digital marketing and perhaps lacks some of the foundational or digital skills required in that environment. It's perfect for those that have the analytical minds who want to harness the power of the internet, social media, e-commerce, and build and grow a successful business. So really, really an exciting program with, once again, a myriad of career opportunities across the board. Then we have our National Certificate in Business Analysis. This is a CETA accredited NQF Level 6 qualification, completed in just in a year and a half or 15 months. It is really designed for the curious problem solvers who want to understand business needs, engage stakeholders, and support effective solutions. Very sort of data orientation. Business analysis is such an important skill. It's perfect for those that are aspiring analysts, project leads, entrepreneurs, anyone with sort of the thinking about taking on business problems and analyzing those and making business using your understanding there to make better business decisions, more strategic focused, so really developing the strategic skills that drive real impact in any given organization. We then have a number of QCTO programs, which these programs are relatively cutting edge, brand spanking new, taking over from the CETA programs during the course of the next year or so, as some of those programs are phased out from the national government perspective. And here we have some exciting programs. We've got the Data Science Practitioner Program, which is an NQF Level 5 qualification. It is completed over 18 months and ideal for analytical thinkers who really want to turn data into sound decision making. We of course have our Design Thinking Innovation Lead. This is an NQF 4 qualification, so kind of setting you up for the journey of going toward the design thinking practitioner route. And this really is perfect for professionals who are looking to lead innovation and drive transformation through human-centered or sort of design-led thinking. The Design Thinking Practitioner Program that itself is really focused on those that are or giving those that are pursuing that program as well as the professional as well as the creative problem solving skills to design better services, better products, and better experiences. Then we have our Marketing Coordinator Program, which is completed over 18 months. It's an NQF Level 5 program. It's a really well-rounded program. So starting out with marketing, covering campaign coordination, content support, brand building, and thinking of everything from a digital first perspective. The Project Manager Program is a little bit of a longer one. It's 24 months. It's quite a weighty program in terms of what you'll cover over the 2-year period. It is an NQF Level 5 and will develop help you to develop the practical skills needed to confidently lead and manage projects in a dynamic business, in any dynamic business environment. And then finally, we have the software developer program. This is a 24-month program. It is an NQF level 5 and really focused on sort of the logical thinkers who want to launch a career in coding, covering programming, system analysis, as well as in application development. So quite a broad program and really exciting in the software development space. So that's pretty much the nutshell of the programs we do have on offer. Some really exciting ones, and of course, if you have any questions with regards to that, I do encourage you to reach out to the team, download the information from the website, and our career advisors will give you a buzz. And alternatively, you can have a look on the website at all of the content that is available. You can email us on registrations@redandyellow.co.za. You can give us a buzz on the contact number on screen or WhatsApp us. We're happy to meet you and engage with you on the channels that ultimately work best for you. I hope today's session was informative in a way, but of course we'll jump onto some questions. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. I will call Stefan Hill to come on screen, please. Steph, we do have a couple of questions. The first is really focused towards the application requirements and the documentation that needs to be submitted with an application. Please, if you wouldn't mind jumping into that.
Awesome, no problem. Thank you, Ashley, and good afternoon, everybody. It does depend on the program that you're applying for, but for the most part, there is an application form that needs to be completed. National certificates, which are NQF 5, for those, we'll need a application form, certified copy of your ID, and in most cases, just an updated copy of your CV. That's all we need for application purposes. And once we go up to NQF 6, same would apply like with the NQF 5. And when we start reaching NQF 7, the application process becomes a bit more lengthy. So the application form, certified copy of your ID, certified copy of your highest qualification. So if you are applying for an NQF 7, the minimum requirement would be an NQF 6, so that's a diploma or higher. There are instances where we can apply through a process called recognition of prior learning, where we look at things like your age exemption, working experience, etc. If there is any questions around that, please feel free to reach out to us or your career advisor, and we'll be able to unpack that in more detail with you. So yeah, that's the NQF 7, and with all NQF 7s, there will be a skill stats that will be applicable to each program. So the advanced diploma in digital marketing, all our part-time advanced diplomas would the skill set would apply. As we go on to our NQF 8, which is the programs that Ashley chatted about a second ago, those are exactly the same application process as well. Obviously, the entry criteria becomes a bit, it's different now, changes from NQF 6 to NQF 7 because you're trying to gain entry into the NQF 8 program. Recognition of prior learning also applies to these programs as well.
Wonderful, thanks, Steph. And then the next question we do have is there's a couple of them that kind of speak to some of the same components. So with regards to the APS scores, so if I don't meet the APS requirements for the BCom, for instance, and fall just short of those for the or given the mathematical mark, whatever it is that might be different to that, what would be the recommendation in that sense?
Okay, that's a great question. So it does depend on if we're referring to math, pure math here. We'll have to look at the actual percentage that was achieved in terms of percentage, not the APS number or the actual code. We generally have a bit of leeway when it comes to giving the applicant an opportunity to do a math test. So let's say the pass mark is 50%. I think we play around with about 3 to 5%, if I'm not mistaken. We'll just have to double check that. And if that's the case, they fall within that category, we would then welcome the participant to do a math test with us, either on campus or we can do it virtually as well. And it's a very basic math test just to ensure that each applicant understands math on a basic level. So that is possible. if the APS score is there and the maths mark, whether it's lit or pure math, is way below where it's supposed to be, we would then recommend looking at the our business in our BBA in marketing and brand management. For that, the minimum requirement is a 50% for English and an APS score, which is exactly the same as BCom, which is 26. So yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, I think worth also noting there is if for any instance that with requirements to getting into the 3-year degree programs or the NQF 7 programs, there is the opportunity to first look at doing one of our entry-level qualifications, say for instance the national certificate or a high certificate equivalent. So we've got a couple of options that do meet those particular requirements, which on successful completion of those and of course achieving an appropriate a GPA or a grade point average, which is just the average mark that you would need to progress into the BCom. There is the option to write the maths test and then articulate through that journey. But in your particular case, we're happy to have a chat and look at your marks on your matric results and advise you accordingly. Then looking at a couple of other questions here with regards to recognition of qualifications, both from a South African perspective, as well as then internationally accredited listings. So I'll be quite frank. There's no such thing as international accreditation. The important thing is for every single qualification that you look at is to make sure that the qualification is registered and accredited in its home country. So whether you're studying in South Africa or studying outside of South Africa, is making sure that the qualification is registered and accredited in the local country. Then what happens is for instance, with us, we're registered with the CHE as well as then with, so the qualification appears on SAQA. That means that the qualification meets a particular standard or an NQF. If you took that qualification overseas to, for instance, you finished your BCom and would like to go overseas and pursue further studies, they would then look at the BCom in South Africa based on that being an NQF level 7, and they will do the evaluation to see the equivalency of that overseas. The same applies for anybody that brings a qualification from another country, say for instance the UK. They would bring their qualification into South Africa. It is then evaluated by SAQA to look at the NQF equivalency or the matriculation board. So there's a couple of different avenues on that. What is important is international recognition, and I think that is a very different conversation to international accreditation. Accreditation, once again, no such thing. But when it comes to internationally recognized, Red and Yellow is an incredibly well-known brand on the international in the international space. We won international awards. We're recognized in that sense. We're building an increasing reputation across the African continent, within the Middle East, within Europe. So definitely no worries with regards to somebody looking at Red and Yellow and seeing that on your CV. I'd be very excited rather to kind of see that, and that kind of speaks for itself in terms of our employability rates, with 94% of our students receiving employment within 6 months of them graduating. So industry does know us, and I think it's important to both locally and internationally. So I hope that answers the question, Reese. If you would like to discuss that further, please feel free to reach out, and we can give you any additional details that you may require. Steph, perhaps you can jump onto the conversation with regards to payment options for the different programs. I think it's probably worth noting payment plans or payment options for any short courses and the qualifications and vice versa.
Sure, no problem. I'll answer the question on the 1-year program. So we should be referring then to the national certificates that we have on offer, which is digital marketing, creative digital content, as well as our user-centered design. So at the moment, the payment plan is, so there's tuition fee, which is 37,000, and then there's a registration fee, which is 4,500. The payment plan is worked out on the tuition fee, of course, and it does work on a monthly installment of 3,566 Rand over 11 months. So yeah, we've broken out that way. And then our NQF 7s, for example, this runs over a longer period of time. Advanced diplomas in digital marketing, registration fee 4.5 as well. That you're looking at 2,891 Rand. We bill you per year. So the first 11 months will be 2,891 times 11, and we'll do the same for the second year. And then our part-time programs are structured a bit different. We do offer payment plans. It's just that the registration fees is listed at 9,500 Rand. And our tuition fee, in terms of a payment plan, you're looking at 3,458 Rand per month. The billing will work the same per year, so 3,458 Rand for the first 11 months, and then we'll bill you accordingly, exactly the same the following year as well. And then, yeah, when we go into our NQF 8, which is our creative postgraduate diploma in creative leadership, yeah, the registration fee also 9,500 Rand. And we're looking at installment of about over 1 year, 7,710 Rand per month over 1 year. And then over 2 years, you're looking at 3,855 Rand. Yeah, so those are our payment plans for most of our programs. If you do have any more questions around that, I know that we'll be emailing you guys our contact information. You're more than welcome to either contact your career advisor if you do have them. If somebody who has been in contact with you, alternatively, you can just email registrations@redyandyellow.co.za, and we'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you.
Wonderful. I suppose the important thing to highlight there is just we do have a number of payment plans and options available, regardless of the course of the program you're ultimately looking at. We can definitely look at and obviously a myriad of different options. We have 2-part payments, we have 3-part payments, monthly installments, so a number of different options across the board. With regards to discussions around any of the points, whether it be fees or a particular case regarding your particular APS scores or your particular matric results, you, as Steph mentioned, you can reach out to your career advisor. You can contact registrations@redyandyellow.co.za. You can contact us on via the phone, or even via our WhatsApp channel, which you can access via our website. Any of those channels, where we're happy to engage with you across any of those to make sure that your particular needs are met, or you have a perfect understanding of what is required. Then, with regards to application deadlines and closing dates for those, Steph, perhaps you can just highlight the dates for sort of applications. I must say applications are currently open, so it's always best to get that application in as soon as possible. But perhaps speaking to the different dates for applications.
Sure, with pleasure. Yeah, so the BCom program starts on the 23rd of February 2026 next year. So the application process can be quite lengthy because of the different approvals that needs to go through. So we always encourage our students to get the application in as quickly and as soon as possible to ensure they get feedback within before the program starts. To give you guys an indication of what the turnaround time can look like when it comes to applying, it can be anywhere between 8 to 14 working days in order for you to get feedback for that application to be completely processed. So in a perfect world, we would say about 2 to 3 weeks before the program starts. But we always encourage our students to apply the side of the year to ensure that their spot is booked, and then they're accepted, then they can start planning accordingly when it comes to finances, time, etc. So most of our programs will start in February next year, and our national certificates will be the beginning of March. So there's like a week between the two programs. So they technically all start very similar times.
Yeah, just to reiterate, get that application in as soon as possible. I think knowing that you've been accepted well ahead of time is the most reassuring thing. It gives you a good plan going into the new year, new me type of mentality, and very exciting once you've got that opportunity sorted. It does mean then you can start planning for the financial commitment to the program, the time commitment, having those conversations with your employer if you're working full time, to make sure that they're behind you and backed you, and making sure that they're supporting you through the journey too. We had a question with regards to what the process would be like, or what the process is to have obtained if you've obtained your NQF Level 6 diploma at a different institution and want to apply for a bachelor's degree. First question I'd probably ask is, or first thing I'd want to say is, I think let's chat specifically about what it is that you'd like to study and reach out to your career advisor. But if you already have an NQF level 6 qualification, and my recommendation would be to perhaps look at one of the advanced diploma programs first, because that's an NQF 7 qualification. So ultimately meaning that you would only need 1 year of studies rather than looking to pursue a bachelor's degree, which would mean 3 years of study. Again, there might be a couple of credits depending on your current qualification. So I'd recommend rather looking at perhaps one of the advanced diploma options, which will get you to that equivalency of a 3-year degree, having already an NQF level 6. It is an anonymous attendee, so I don't have your name, but would be more than happy to discuss your particular needs with regards to transition into one of the higher programs. We then had another question around the number of credits that apply to the different programs. So the ADMAC program in particular is 120 credits that you would get for the advanced diploma, and it is the equivalency of a degree level qualification. So I do note that you perhaps looking at towards your MBA in the future. I think in your circumstance might be worthwhile having a conversation and chatting around the qualification that you currently have, potentially looking at one of our postgrad options that is an NQF level 8 already, which would get you to that PG Dip or postgraduate diploma honors level equivalency program. So applying towards an MBA, which would be an NQF level 9, is the next step and journey there. So let's have a conversation, reach out to your career advisor, drop us through an email, and we can talk to those specific needs with regards to you wanting to eventually pursue an MBA. We want to make sure we're advising you in the right direction. Then I suppose that answers the question that came in with regards to what is the best route to take if you're looking at an NQF 8. We can definitely help you along that journey. All of our programs, for the most part, we have an option for every bookend that people are kind of looking for at this stage. So if you're looking at it upskilling, looking at it sort of wanting to be recognized for the competency that you have, the skills you've developed over time, making you feel a little bit more confident and competent. Short courses can do that. They can give you a new skill set, pivot your career, help you get a flavor or a taste of some of the different options. But if you're looking at moving towards an NQF 8 level qualification, depending on what your matric results look like, we can either recommend a 3-year degree equivalency, which would eventually get you there, or if your matric results weren't a bachelor's pass, we can start with something like a national certificate and work with you on what that journey looks like to getting you to an NQF 8. So definitely a number of options that we do have there. Again, an anonymous attendee, but happy to have those conversations with you and unpack your particular needs. Then we have a question around, do you have any special exemption for those who have already studied and worked in said or relevant industries? Perhaps you can jump onto that one, Steph.
Sure. Yeah. So I think we will be looking at the. If I understand correctly, you probably asking around gaining entry into the program based on working experience within that discipline. If you don't have the necessary qualification to apply for this, in this case, let's say you have you want to apply for a degree program or an advanced diploma, which is NQF 7, you'll need a minimum of NQF 6. We do look at the process that I mentioned earlier, which is called the recognition of prior learning, where what it takes into account is age, working experience within that specific discipline you're applying for. A lot of other factors, like we need a portfolio of evidence, we need testimonials, etc., to prove that you've actually worked within that discipline for X amount of years. And what that does is how the department looks at it is like it's an NQF level that's basically covered within your working experience. So that's how it's looked at. So yes, we do take that in consideration, but there are guidelines around that. And as we mentioned earlier, more than happy to unpack that with you if you're able to get in touch with us. And each person's obviously going to be different depending on what your working experience look like, what your highest NQF level is, etc. So we'll be more than happy to unpack that. But yes, we do look at it.
Yeah, I think the recognition of prior learning process is quite a robust one. There's a number of things that are important to consider when looking to apply through recognition of prior learning. And again, as Steph mentioned, we we think the best approach in talking about things through recognition of prior learning is to have a one-on-one conversation that particularly pertains to your circumstances, your learning journey up until this point, as well as then your professional journey, and all things considered it needs to be taken into account there. Regarding practical application, would it be possible to gain work experience along with a degree at Red and Yellow? Depending on which program you end up taking. So, for instance, if you take the BCom over a 4 or a 6 year, or distance over a 3, 4, or a 6 year period, that is ultimately designed. The 4 and the 6 year period is designed for working professionals. The 4 year stint is it's a little bit tougher, and you really would need some considerable buy-in from your organization to make sure that they're giving you the flexibility to kind of go through that program. It's close to a very full-time doing it permanently process. So yes, it certainly is something a lot of individuals taking on our part-time programs or any of the distance programs are working professionals, and you'll have the ability and the flexibility to engage with majority of the content at a time that suits you best, barring some of the part-time programs having those very specific evening classes that you need to attend, or Saturday classes dependent on the particular program. And those are done via Zoom, so you can access those from anywhere around the country or world. Just taking time zones into consideration if you are abroad. So yes, certainly something that you will be able to do is take on full-time employment and gain the appropriate working experience whilst taking on the program. As long as you've taken the program at the appropriate cadence, doing the BCom over 3 years is. It will be quite challenging to have full-time employment at the same time, but if there's some part-time employment in that, certainly doable. Then how do we get in touch with the advisors to discuss the application process, and if you have any more questions? Again, I think the best way to do that is you can either give us a call. The contact number for that is either on our website, or we can give it now. It's 087 227 3283, or registrations at redandYellow.co.za. Jump on our website, click on the live chat in the bottom right hand corner, drop us through a WhatsApp. We'll give you a buzz from there if that's what you'd prefer to do. So a number of different ways to engage with us. Yeah, so please do engage with us. We're more than happy, and we want to talk to you and make sure that you've got everything that you need to kind of move forward. Then I think that's a couple of duplicates of the question there. And then the ability to change the duration of your study period. If you've taken the program, for instance, on either a 3 or a 4 year time period, you certainly will have the ability to change that to a longer time period. It is a little bit more challenging if you've taken it on a 6 year period and want to change it to a 4 year or a 3 year. There are some limitations just because of the way that the cadence of the program is broken down, but there certainly is some wiggle room to make sure that if you've taken it on a shorter time period, that you can then extend that over a longer period. My recommendation for majority of students would kind of be think about the 4 year time period initially, and then if required, then take that towards changing it to a 6 year period based on your workload. And I think it does depend on people's professional career at this stage. You might have a little bit more flexibility now and can take the program over a steeper cadence, whereas over time you might find yourself in a different professional space where it's a little bit more pressurized environment work-wise, or life moves on, you have kids, those sorts of things, and you want to try and change the cadence of the program. Certainly something that can be accounted for. All righty, I think that is everything with regards to the questions. Once again, feel free to reach out to us. The career advisors and Steph and his team, more than happy to engage around any particular questions you have across any of our programs. Please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much for your attention during the actual Open Day today, virtual Open Day. It's always wonderful to share the exciting news of Red and Yellow and how we can assist you from an educational standpoint. Please look out in your email in the coming days for of course the recording as well as a copy of the deck. And have a wonderful day. Thank you for your time.